Have you ever asked God why? Have you ever taken the time to sit down and ask God why? I know for me, growing up as a kid, I grew up in church, and it's like asking God why was like the ultimate sin. Oh, you don't ask God questions. You don't ask God why. And y'all, it wasn't until I was in my mid 30s before I actually asked God why. And when I wasn't struck down, I was like, okay, this is allowed. But I had a fear of asking God why. And my questions to God were, why did you give me this life? Why did you allow these things to happen to me? Things that were beyond my control. Why did you allow it? Why did you allow my mother to leave? Why did you allow me to go through the childhood that I went through? Why did you allow that? Why are you allowing the trials, the tests and the trials? Why can't you allow something good? Why is it that I have to fight and dig it out the mud for everything? And as soon as I feel like I'm getting somewhere, you take it. And I have to start rebuilding again. And as soon as I get to a certain space, it's gone. And then I have to start rebuilding. Why did you allow these things to happen in my life? And I know in the last episode, I had said that I'm going to start talking about my journey. This is a new season, y'all. So welcome back. It's complicated. Oh, yes. And we're about to dig into how complicated my life really is. Um, but I'm at the space where I don't know if he's answered those questions. I don't know. All I know is I'm still asking why on certain things. I get answers on some, and some I don't think I do. But this episode, I'm going to be talking about my first memories as a kid, y'all. When I was young, I was raised in foster care. My mom left. She had 4 kids. Um, she left when I was very young, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Just a short story because I don't want to go into detail with y'all. I'm trying to give y'all a synopsis. A short story. I remember the night that she left. We were at my grandmother's house, and she was sleeping on the couch. And I remember I went in and I asked her if I could sleep with her, and she said, yeah. So I got up on the couch with her, and her legs, y'all know how you lay on the couch on your side and your legs are folded. I laid in the curvature of her legs, and I looked up at her and I said, "Are you going to be here when I wake up?" And she looked at me. She said, "Yeah, why?" And I laid back down and I looked back up at her and I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Do you promise?" And she said, "I promise." Needless to say, when I woke up, she was not there. She had left. And so that was rough. That was a little rough. And then we kind of went from home to home. 3 of us were given up to foster care, and the baby, my grandmother kept the baby, my baby sister, my youngest. And foster care wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all, y'all. I apologize for the background noise if you can hear it. Hopefully not. But we were raised by a 65-year-old lady. She was a widow. And look, I'm an advocate for foster care, but at the same time, I've also been traumatized. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm an advocate. I will say if it is the right house, then absolutely. If it's the right home, but I do feel like there needs to be better vetting for the foster parents, because it ends up being about the money. The lady that we lived with, she was a widow, and She was a short lady. She was shorter than me, and I was a kid. um, so, but she was. We literally were in church like every day, y'all. Cleaning the church, going to Bible study, going to summer camp, y'all. We lived in church. If we wasn't at school, we was in church. And I'm not saying that that was the torturous part about it, but um, she disciplined a little different. One, we could not play with our toys. Anything that we got for Christmas that was toy related, I think we had maybe 24 hours to play with them, and then she would hide them. Me and my sister, we had stuffed animals, but we only could play with one. All the other ones were hung up on the wall for us to look at. Um, we actually, no one knew who my father was. Like, none of us knew who our fathers were. None of us. Um, my mother had thrown a name out there, and it was in the paper. I remember that. I forgot. I think it was. I forgot the name. I forgot the name. And then we celebrated my birthday on the wrong day. But it was not the best. We used to have to take baths with bleach water. And when I say bleach, it was burning hot water. It's like what you wash your whites in, right? The bleach was enough to make your eyes burn and to make your skin feel kind of slimy. Um, yeah, and we were told to wash the black off of us, me and my sister. And the lady that raised us was black. We couldn't really say too much to anyone. We kind of just had to take it. It was a don't talk about what goes on in the home type of situation. We were scared. We were definitely scared. We used to get whooped with switches. We used to get whooped with switches, and it was three of us, so she would tell us to go pick our switch. It didn't matter how long, how short it was. She was going to braid them together. But imagine being whipped in a bathtub full of bleach water. It was hard. It was hard. It hurt. That burned. It burned. And 9 times out of 10, we didn't do anything wrong. She would get frustrated and would take it out on us. She would hide her switches in this big vase, in this big floor vase that was deep enough to hold the switches. And when company would come, she would throw them in there, and and no one would know. No one would know. I remember me and my sister. She used to put relaxers in our hair. And she'd put it in our hair, and we'd have to go outside with a plastic bag, I'm sorry, over our head and play out in the sun for hours. I'm surprised we have hair. I'm surprised that we have hair to this day. So it wasn't easy. Those are just some memories that I have. My brother probably took the worst of it. He was biracial. And y'all, we lived in this little small hick town in Virginia, raised there with her, and racism was wild. There was me, my sister, my brother, and one other person that were black, and everyone else was white. And then there was one guy I think he was Mexican and black, and it was hard. I was shy, so I didn't really communicate to many people. I didn't talk to many. But one day I was at my locker, and this group of boys walked up to my locker and they said, "What color is your brother?" I said, "What?" They said, "What color is he?" I was like, "He's black," because we didn't differentiate. I said, "He's black." And they were like, "Oh, well, we just call him the N-word." But they actually said the word. And they walked away. And I was like, wow, I didn't know how to respond to that. I didn't know how to respond to that. But living in foster care was not easy. My brother used to run away all the time. We used to get beat for stuff that he would do. I feel like he was judged and treated more poorly because of his ethnicity. He used to get beat. Like, we would cry for him. We cried for him. And we would be like, sometimes we would beg him, like, look, just don't do anything. But that didn't work. That didn't matter. That didn't matter at all. Y'all, these kids today have it easy. They have it easy. I'll say that. We didn't have choices when it came to what we're gonna eat for dinner. You either ate what was on the plate or you didn't eat at all. And there was no option to not eat. You eat what's on the plate. I remember we used to go and we'd put it in our mouth and go to the bathroom and spit it out. Yeah, I don't like liver. I don't like milk. And she used to try to force us to eat these things. And y'all, there was a washing machine in the kitchen, right? She had a washing machine in the kitchen. So when she would leave the table, we would throw our food behind the washing machine. We would throw our food behind the washing machine. So I don't know what all lied behind that, but we were like, we're done. Because if not, we were gonna get beat. We would get beat. And she would beat us to finish our food. When we would clean up and wash the dishes. This is why I'm the way that I am about what I eat off of. We used to get beat and have to rewash them if they were still dirty. Y'all, key word in this. I know it's a repetitive word, but it is. It's real. It is real. I remember I was I was in school and my best friend was white, and she had a birthday party. She was having a birthday party and I had asked to go to it. And I was like, "Can I go to the birthday party?" And she said no. This was the first time I ever asked her this question. I said, "Why?" And she looked at me and she said, "Because you're black." I don't know if we fought with the world more or if we fought with her more. And I get it. She was being a 65-year-old black lady. I know, like, her childhood was raised. She was raised during certain times. I don't know exactly how far back that went. But I think her mindset was still there. Her mindset was still there. We couldn't go play anywhere. We couldn't go anywhere because we were black. Because we were black. Being raised by a black lady. So that was pretty rough. And I guess that's why I'm the way that I am now. Like, I love to have fun. I will play with toys. Not like I'll play with my kids with toys. But I ain't playing with toys. But I like kid movies and everything. Y'all, we couldn't even watch television. And if we watched television, it was like whatever she was watching. Nothing that we ever wanted to watch. We used to have to watch Little House on the Prairie, which we liked that. Gunsmoke, Bonanza. But y'all, it was a 700 Club. It was all of the old school evangelists that were Billy Graham and all that. And when they prayed, we used to have to get up and touch the TV screen. I don't know if any of y'all had to do that when y'all were growing up, but I don't know what it was that was supposed to come through that TV screen to get to us. But I guess it was something. I don't know. I don't know. But on Saturdays, I will say, she would allow us to watch a couple of cartoons on Saturdays, and then we would have to get up, clean, and then go outside and play. Like, going outside to play wasn't a choice. That was what we had to do, and that was an all day thing. The door would be locked. If we wanted to go use the bathroom, get some water, get something to drink, oh, we had to knock on the door. We had to knock on the door. And if she didn't want us to do any of the above, we had to stay outside. We had to stay outside. But mind you, y'all, we didn't have any toys. We didn't even have toys to play with outside. And we couldn't climb trees. Oh, God. I was a tomboy, too, and I couldn't climb trees. I was miserable. I was miserable. But, yeah, it was a little rough. It was a little rough. So my childhood wasn't really too much of a childhood. And I've kind of, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. But I don't relish in it. I don't relish in it. So these are questions that I have for God. I mean, I get it. I get it. Shit happens. But there's got to be an answer as to why. And maybe my answer will come through telling my story. I don't know. But I'm going to end this one right here and stay tuned for the next one where I will be talking about my family members and being in foster care because they were around, y'all. They just wasn't around. Yeah, it gets deeper. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this helps. If it did, I'm gonna put a poll in the comment section. Please follow me. Share this out. Whatever it is. If you want to know more. Thank you guys. Have a great one.